During the month of January, Calvary Baptist Church, like many other churches in our denomination, maybe all, collect an offering for retired ministers and missionaries. For me, that means a check that's not a great amount, but it is a check that reminds me every December when I receive it that I'm a part of a larger family that really does care about the work of ministers and missionaries in our denomination. And so it is that when I receive that check, I always try to make sure that it is not for myself, but something that I can do in some way for others. But I became aware of a much deeper meaning to this offering as I was on the board of the Retired Ministers and Missionaries. It used to be M&M, it's now RMMO, Retired Ministers and Missionary Offering. Two particularly personal cases that I remember very well. One with a woman that I called on, the wife of a retired minister, then deceased, Dolores Bowermaster. When their son, who was 12 at the time, died, they received money because Richard Bowermaster was a retired pastor in order to help with the expenses of his hospitalization and then his death. So a very personal connection to Calvary because Dolores and Richard were members here. A more immediate or larger amount of help that I was a part of knowing about was a number of years ago when a minister in our region here in the Rocky Mountains was in the midst of a move, and they lost a great deal of money, did not have enough for some of the moving costs. And I called the executive director of RMMO, who I knew quite well, and explained the situation, and within a week, they had a check for the amount that they needed for their move. It is an offering for emergency assistance for retired ministers and missionaries, so it's people who have served all over the world, serving Christ in all different places. It is an offering that supports in ways far, far beyond that one annual check that is really small in nature, but the emergency assistance that's given is much greater and much deeper in meaning. So I encourage you to think about that in your January giving, and on your check you can simply write RMMO, and it will go, I can guarantee, to a very worthwhile cause.